Yeah, I couldn't get it taut at all because those poles are just way too long. So they're just sliding up to the peak there. But you see how I got my guy lines on there? Once it does get a solid pole in there and it gets that full pyramid look to it, it'll have a nice center and it'll be tauter. I put the tie outs on the poles because I figured there would be some flexibility on them, and that'll help keep them more secure, more stable in a wind. I got one peg point on each corner and one in the middle where the door will be. I got the one peg point there. I'll put another one on that flap, and there would be a zipper from there on down. And yeah, I didn't get strong enough poles to make it work, and by just putting them up there in the tubes and not having like a good strong material in that cap, them poles just want to punch right through. So I had some difficulty in putting it up, but you can see it's got a heck of a footprint on it. I'm going to say at least 9 by 9, maybe 10 by 10, but I'm going to say at least 9 by 9. And like I said, stronger poles, and you get it to stand up right with them pull out points on it, it's going to give you a lot of room, man. Alright, well, I set out to prove it could be done. It can be done. Just because this looks like this doesn't mean nothing. I know there are people out there who build pyramid tents all the time. All you got to do is sew them tubes in the four corners and get the right size of pole to go inside of them, and you eliminate that center pole. And that's what the whole concept was to get rid of that center pole. As you can see, wide open spaces. Another thing about it being so short is because them poles are letting it bend and fall down. If I had some good strong poles in there, that would work. Well, it looks like hell, but the proof of concept trued out. Right there is that tube, and I do have a pole in it, but it ain't strong enough for what I'm doing here. I got the wrong size, but that's okay, because the proof of concept is it works. Once this thing gets stronger poles in it and it stands up, there's going to be loads of room in here. So, did it work? Actually, yes it did. One of the things that was dependent were them poles. Now, they were too long. They're brand new. I just bought them. I couldn't get them in the pockets in the bottom, and my gathering at the top didn't hold me pushing on them thin poles. Pushed right through the cap. So, has to have a good strong foot in that peak for that pole not to poke through the tent. So it's got to have a stop at the top in the peak. That's one. Really easy to do, I think. And the tubes worked out fine. I was able to slide all four poles in with it laid down on the ground just fine. Just like any tent, you get a little kink and you got to kind of wiggle it a little bit to get it up. So yeah, that all worked fine. My guy out points worked out really good. I really like the ones on the sides. I put them 4 foot up so that it would pull the sides out. It does make it roomier inside. Now I know the pitch that's out there with it, right, the way you see it in the video, the pitch is terrible. I mean, it doesn't look like it would be worth messing with, but I think it really has potential. I think I've got like 3.33 mil poles, and they really do. They need to be like, oh, 3/8 to ½ inch poles that go in those pockets. Um, I've got some steel poles that go to another tent. I'm kind of thinking about trying that, but yeah, I think I've already proved my proof of concept. And it's not a tent, it's just a bunch of blue dollar store tarps that are sewn together for an idea that I had in my head. I think if a person already had a pyramid tent, four-sided tent like that, and it doesn't matter what the footprint is on it or whatever, whether it's it doesn't matter what the footprint is on it. As long as the poles are in them tubes and they have a cap at the bottom and they go into a solid top so that they can't slide up and down. And one of the reasons that it looks so bad is the poles want to do this. And because I put tie outs, guide points on the poles, I'm able to pull them back out a little bit, but not enough. They're just not strong enough. So with it not being locked into the bottom and it's going like this, then the tent wants to slide up the tube over the pole. But when it's locked into the base, it can't. So it'll make it easier. My concept of pegging out one side and then taking the other side, or the other end, I guess, and lifting it up and pulling it back, oh, that worked out really good. I mean, it was just like you grab hold of them two poles in front of you and you pull backwards and the whole thing just stands up, boom, there it is. That worked out really good until it started sliding up the poles, and then it was really hard to get it to set as good as I did have it. I didn't have a door slit in it because I didn't want to have that part to mess with just seeing if it would stand. And once you've got it stood up and you got the poles up in the top, you can't stand up in it, I don't think. Not this one anyways. I don't see why you couldn't have one that you could stand in. As far as what I set out to do, I'm satisfied with it. I wish it would have been a really cool pitch. That would have been nice, but that part's not important. I proved that the concept would work. And that's on a four-sided. Now, if you were going to do a hexagon pitch, then you would only need 3 poles. And there's another new thing that's coming out. Well, it's not new. It's an inflatable system for a tent. I can't remember the name of the company that's doing them, but they're just like bicycle inner tubes that you just inflate. I could actually see that working. And it's new stuff that they're working on, so I really don't have a lot of information on it. But I really think that that would work either with the hexagon pitch or this TP pitch that I got. Now, there, like I said, there are TP manufacturers out there for the center pole pitch. And I think if they just sewed those pockets up the corners and had a nice solid peak, had a place to lock that pole in that pocket so that it can't slide up and down, the tent can't slide up and down, I think that'd work out really good. And I didn't put a loop on the top of this for a suspend because that wasn't where I was going. If you were going to have something like this, it should have the loop on top so that you can do a suspend, because I think that would work out great too, and you'd still have the guy out points to pull it out to give it more space, make it more rigid, I guess. But yeah, this whole thing worked out for me. I'm I'd really like to see if somebody be interested in producing these, because I think they're pretty cool. You wouldn't have to take the poles with you every time you went, and when this thing rolls up, it's like about this wide and about yay big around, pound each. I would say it was under 2 pounds. I couldn't see it being over 2 pounds. And you take a bag and the pegs, of course, that's going to be some weight too. And the poles are going to be some weight. But you don't always have to combine everything. You can take what you want. If you want to do just a regular center pole pitch, have a center pole. If you want to go out car camping and you want to bring the extra bag of poles and you want to set it up with the poles in a corner, boom, there you go. I like the idea of these tents that give you viable options, like the inner pitch for the TP tents or the hot tents or whatever and stuff like that. All that innovation stuff gives a person options and can give you more opportunity to use an easy pitch tent. As far as it laying on the ground, sliding the poles in, man, if that had all worked out to where them poles were the exact length and everything and locked into them, because I cut those tubes down at an angle like this, so that when the tube slides up in there, when you get to the end of it, you can take and slide it down in there and it locks it in and nothing's going to slide out. That's pretty easy to do too. Yeah. Hey, somebody out there, Juan Tigris, Pamali, Nature Hike, Hill Zero, somebody. I'm not a seamstress by trade. I sewed it together. I fought it. I had a lot of troubles with it, but it's just me. And the way it turned out, yeah, it's like, ooh, look at that beautiful. It's not that. It's really not. It was just like a design concept, and I'm happy with it. I think it turned out. So there it is. If you like that, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. You never know what else you're going to see. All right. Thanks for watching. You have a good night.